There's no law in the game that says you must hide your toilets, but that is exactly what I do. Keeps them out of the way. They are a bit ugly looking buildings. And another thing I do is I charge 10p, that's all, just so that it's not a building that's sitting there not making any money. Because, you know, you get things like first aid and ATMs. They're useful in that it stops guests throwing up and guests can get more money out to spend, but they themselves don't earn any money. So what I do, especially with toilets, because you can charge for people to use the toilets, and I must admit I get pissed off in reality if I get charged to use a toilet, but on this game guests don't seem to complain, so that's what I do. I charge for them to use the toilet. You know, it's another way to get a bit of extra money in. So fair's fair and all that. Put another one here. I won't name them. I'll just call them Toilet 1, Toilet 2, Toilet 3. No reason to name them. Maybe if you've got like a really heavily themed theme park, then maybe you might want to, you know, name your toilets. I don't know. If you've got forest loos or something like that. I don't know. Just making things up on the spot now. For me, for now, 1, 2, 3. There's no biggie about that. Oh, I didn't spot these up here. That's good. Guests can come up here for food and drink. I'll pump this up to 150. This up to 175. This one up to £2. Yeah, you get a little bit of extra money just by doing that. You know, if you charge just 10p extra per thing, then you know you're making 10p extra per thing. So, however many you sell, you end up earning a ton of money, which is good. I did just see our VIP has arrived, which is bad news. We're going to fail it this time round because, quite simply, our park is nowhere near ready to receive visitors. What I will do now, though, hopefully I have the money for it, is actually I'll build one of these first. Big roller coaster. I say big roller coaster. It's a roller coaster. You can charge a lot more money for a roller coaster than you can for a normal ride. Yeah, you know, it's a money maker. All these rides are money makers, but roller coasters in particular, you can earn a lot of money from roller coasters. Where am I going to put this? I don't know really. The problem with this one is because it's just a long stick, really. You can't bend it around buildings or anything. You have to place it in a long empty area. Oh, there's one here. Actually, I noticed the other version of this. That one, Escape from Planet Earth. It's smaller and it's got the entrance and exit. I mean, I know I can move the entrance and exit afterwards, but now for time saving measures it's got the entrance and exit on the right side. So I might just stick this here. Yeah, stick them there, and then I can delete that. I will leave that bit as it is because I'm going to move the entrance to this side. I'm going to rename it as well. What am I going to call this one? So launched roller coaster, it goes up a tower and back again. I might just call it Freefall. Again, I apologise for the quality of my name, but I know they are atrocious. You know, if anyone's got any ideas for names, feel free to drop me a comment and I will rename my ride immediately. I can't help it really. My creativity lies in the actual building of the ride, not the styling of it. Right, and again, it's sort of this roller coaster sort of opens up this area of the park. It encourages people to walk around this way, which you wouldn't normally get. So, you know, it's good news. That's what I do with my parks. I find areas of the park that haven't really got that many people in, and I build a new ride there, because at the end, you know, what's popular is what's new. So If I've got an area of the park that's a bit downgraded, it hasn't really had much attention recently, I build a new ride and people come flooding in, which is good. That's exactly what you want. That's what theme parks in reality do. You know, if you have, let me think of a good example. If you have an area like X Sector at Alton Towers, since Black Hole closed, it was just Oblivion, Submission, and Enterprise, and it was one of the oldest areas of the park. It'd been like it has been for 15 years, I think it was. So it was time for an upgrade. So Alton Towers built the Smiler, and now it's one of the most popular areas of the park again because there's something new there. People go flooding in to go on the new ride, which is good. It works. It's a tried and tested method. Right, £3.50 for this ride. I'm going to stick it on full load again, because I always like my rides to run full, if you think of all the money you could earn. I do know that obviously you can lose money as well from if it's sitting there waiting, not going anywhere. But then at the same time, if it's not going anywhere anyway because it's not full, then if it leaves and comes back, what's to say there's going to be people there waiting for it when it gets back? Right, again, no music yet. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Open the ride. I might build a pathway through here, actually, because if you think about it, there's the entrance to the park. You know, it's a shortcut, but then actually, yeah, if they come down here, they might come down to this area of the park as well, so I might just leave it as it is. One thing I'm going to do, though, is build like a... I was going to build a square, but it might not let me because of the... Oh, this is going to be tricky, actually. What I want to do is build an information stand as close to the entrance to the park as I can. And you can see the land there is not flat, which makes this really difficult. So what I'm going to do instead is level this bit of land, which, you know, this could go well, this could go bad. Drag it down one more than it needs to be, and then lift it back up. Actually, this is kind of bad because this is the park boundary here, so you end up with this ugly sort of cliff bit here, which I can't even change the colour of because it's not my land. I can't do anything to it because I don't own it. But the reason I'm doing this is you put an information kiosk right in front of the entrance to your park, and you know, once guests buy a map, they can't get lost because, well, yeah, they know where everything is then. This is something else I like about this game, which I didn't like in Coaster Tycoon 2, is Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, you try and make the park realistic, you build big wide pathways, and everybody, literally everybody gets lost, including your staff. On Coaster Tycoon 3, you have destinations. So, again, like the example I used earlier, you have a roller coaster at the back of the park and you're standing at the front of the park. Obviously, where you are is your location. Where you want to go, that roller coaster is the destination. And I'm guessing they've put some kind of pathway software in the game, because the peeps plot a path. Probably the shortest route, but also the route that's going to get them there. And, you know, that's how they get to there. So even if you've got big wide pathways, they know which path they're going to take, and they just follow that. And you know, that makes life really easy, because you can build these big wide pathways, and all you have to do is stick an information kiosk at your entrance, guests buy a map, and they know exactly where they're going. So yeah, that bit's done now. People now know where they're going, which means rides like Freefall and rides like Inverter, which, you know, I mean, that's doing really well now. I'm really pleased how popular that's become. I'm going to recolour it so that it fits in with its zone a bit more. Just realised they're the lights I'm changing the colour at the moment, which makes no odds because this park is never going to be seen at night time. So might just well, if that's the case, I always make the lights white, because even if it does get dark, you're always going to see a white light, aren't you? So you know exactly where you are and what you're doing. Why is this? Oh, I know why. Once a ride gets popular, you can take down the time that it's waiting for. Still seems to be waiting, I don't know why. It's a bit odd that. Oh well. you know, that'll kick off in a minute. And another good thing to see is my handyman is actually doing a good job here. He's worked his way all the way from the front of the park where I placed him, and he's cleaned all these paths up, which is fantastic. That is exactly what I wanted him to do. He's still got little bits here to do, but again, something else which is good in this game. In Coaster Tycoon 2, you could put a handyman down, and he would just sort of wander around a bit until he found some rubbish to clear up. Whereas on here, they know where the rubbish is, and they go straight to it and clear it up that way. And you know, again, it just makes life easier because you can plop down a handyman wherever you like in the park, and he will find his own way to the rubbish. Whereas normally in Coaster Tycoon 2, you had to put handymen, or you had to move them to where the rubbish was, so that they could actually clear it up. Otherwise, they'd just wander around aimlessly thinking there's no rubbish for them to clear up because they've done their job, which is not true at all. You can end up with really messy parks and a handyman standing on the other side of it thinking his job's done because there's no rubbish. Another thing which I'm annoyed about this actually is mechanics. Whilst handymen can work their way around picking out rubbish, mechanics don't know where a broken down ride is. So in some cases you have to either put them close or you have to move them there, or you know, you can allocate them that area and they know not to leave that area, but it's just an irritation really, in all honesty, because you want to save your money for other areas of the park, and you end up spending it all hiring and training mechanics just so that each and every ride has a mechanic on it in case it breaks down, which, you know, you don't really want to do that. You want to spend your money on new rides, or just getting handymen or security guards, which is something I'm actually going to do now. And in this case, I am going to stick him down in this area, and I'm going to keep him in this area because these benches and bins I want to keep intact. And actually, whilst I'm here, I'm going to put a handyman down here as well. Or janitor, as they're called in this game. I call them handymen. They were called handymen in the old Road Coaster Tycoon, so I'm still calling them handymen. I do want to train these guys up, actually, thinking about it. Otherwise you end up with strikers or quitters, which, you know, I particularly do not want. And, you know, just for the crack, I'm going to dress him up like a cowboy. He loves his cowboy suit, does my janitors. Where's my staff list gone? There. I'm going to choose my... Oh, first of all, let's train him up, and then I'm going to choose his colours to wear as well. But he's in the cowboy land, so he's just going to wear brown and black. And there you go, look. He looks quite happy. They both look quite happy. I like that, apart from he looks like an old man with white hair. It's too bad you can't get Stetsons for staff, because that would have been pretty cool. So yeah, this restaurant area, food court area, is sort of a bit secluded, but it's somewhere to get food, and guests will have maps so they know where to get food from. Something I am going to do though eventually is convert one of these studios into a food court. I'm calling them studios. They are meant to represent studios. They are just big empty boxes, to be honest. I'm also going to build a ride, or at least the queue of a ride in one of them, because I've been to Walt Disney Studios in Paris, and I really like the way they set up the studios there. I don't know whether it was actually used as a studio or not. They might have done a little bits and pieces there, but the way they've set it up to make it look like a studio, and you've got, you know, Studio 1 where the restaurants are and things like that, I think that's really clever. So if I have the chance, I'm going to incorporate that into my rides. So, you know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 studios here, and 3 on this side, although one's now got a toilet in.